you should really be avoiding force unwrapping. But what if you could do that for a whole array? Well, that's what this video is about. So although in this video I'm dealing with a simple array of optionals, I'm going to have to do something with each of those elements. And why don't I use uppercase? Like if you have hello uppercase, it returns the uppercase version of that. So the array I'm going to deal with is this one. So it's an array of optional string. Either you have a string or you have nil. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements here. Now it's very tempting to do a simple loop around this array. And then you can do whatever you like with it. So for example, you could print value. The problem is, what's value.uppercase going to return? So it has the question mark there. So that means it's an optional. So if value is nil, which is in some cases in that array, what do we expect it to print? Well, unfortunately, it's this optional sum, which isn't great and wouldn't be good for a user to see. So instead of force unwrapping, which would be the exclamation mark there, we could use an if-let pattern. If let value equals value would do it. I mean, I'm not always a fan of calling it value when it was value before. However, that will work. And that means you'd just print out the uppercase versions of the strings. Okay, can't use optional chaining because it's no longer an optional. But the problem is that we still have this array that's messy. What if we want to chain a lot of different functions into this array of optionals? What could we do? Well, we'd want to get rid of those optionals. So one thing we could use is to use map. So let's get rid of that. And we can create a new uppercase array. So then we are producing map onto our array. And it's going to run this uppercased. And this uppercased array is reusable then. But unfortunately, it's still containing this optional string. And that's exactly what I don't want. I want it to change to only store string. Because when I print out, I never want to have this optional there, and I don't want to print out nils. So the best way I have of doing that is to use compact map. So compact map here is going to DLS out an array with no optionals. And that array with no optionals, as is shown there, is actually just string rather than an optional string. So of course, I haven't actually run my function of uppercase onto this. And that requires another line. And you might like to think of how to do it within one line. But here we can map uppercase onto that array of strings. And then this has the desired outcome of just changing that array, so then I just have uppercase elements within the array. Let's see. So in the end, we've printed that out. Of course, array with no optionals will not have changed here. It will just contain the strings, and this just prints out that. So we could set array with no optionals to be the output of array with no optionals.map. But I think I've gone on long enough, and this is a good way of avoiding using force unwrap within your code. So this is another one of those videos where it should be said you should always avoid unwrapping, and this is another kind of tool in your toolbox to avoid doing just that. And yes, if you're doing some tests and it's not production code, you may have a force unwrap in there, but under usual cases, don't do it. And compact map is something that can help you avoid it. Anyway, thanks for listening if you made it to the end. Thank you.